Hello friends and welcome back to the channel. I'm Nick. This is MSFS Flight Plans. It has been almost 17 days since I've uploaded a flight. That is probably the longest I've ever gone without uploading a video. And there's good reason for that. I have been taking a hiatus and I may be taking a much longer one. While I tell you about that, we are going to take a flight across the Isle of Man, which I've been wanting to check out for a while. So we're leaving from the north. There's only really two airports on the island. Andreas Airfield is where we are now. We're going to the airport down on the southern end of the island, which is only about 18 miles or so. And if you want to find the Isle of Man, it is in between, well, it's just off the, well, let's just look at it real quick just so you can see exactly where it is, just in case it looks amazing and you want to check it out. It's over here between Ireland and England. So right there, I just watched a documentary about this and it looked amazing, so I figured we'd fly over the top of it. Pretty short trip, so that's a total distance of, I guess that's Isle of Man Airport. That's exactly how far that is real quick. If we went straight, it'd be about 18.3 nautical miles, so this whole trip is going to be 21 nautical miles, and we are in the vintage 172 because it's awesome. But I just wanted a few minutes. We're not going to do any sightseeing or anything, but I want to tell you kind of what's going on in my life, what's going on with the channel, because a few things have been changing. So let's go ahead and get this thing up in the air. And boy, is this a hilly runway or what? Turn the wind off too because this thing is super light. So just in case you don't hear from me for a very long time, I will tell you some personal information about the things I do outside of simming. And no, before we get into all this, my passion for simming has not faded in the least. We're in the middle of our Learning to Fly series. We're in the middle of our Route 66 series. And I was going to do another deal with Mamu, also from Mamu Design. So we still have some stuff in the hopper if and when I can get back to it. But believe it or not, outside of simming, there are some other things that I do participate in life, not the least of which is I own, and I've never said this before on the channel, I own a financial planning firm here in Jacksonville, Florida, where I have worked and spent my working life for the last quarter century. And luckily, it's gotten to the point where there's not a huge workload involved in that anymore, which is why I have so much time to do this. But in addition to that, I do have 4 daughters, which I have mentioned on the channel, which occupy a lot of my time. The oldest 2 are now in college. The oldest 1 is going to be graduating and probably moving out early next spring. And in addition to that, I'm on several different boards and involved with many organizations here in town. I do lots and lots and lots of extracurricular stuff, and people who know me in the real world are always shocked that I have time to do all that and things like this. And the reason why I love simming so much is that I cannot sit still, my brain cannot relax, so when everyone else goes to bed at night, and I only need about 4 or 5 hours of sleep, even if I tried to get more than that, it would be hard for me to sleep more than 6 hours at a time. So simming has just been awesome for that because I had nothing else to do at night, so why the heck not do it? I loved it, and as you guys know, which I have said many, many times on the channel, I never did this for money. When you start a YouTube channel, just for those of you that might be thinking about it, there's always kind of the dream that maybe you'll really make it and take off. And I was actually taking a fun flight with Freaky D, one of the most prolific modders in the FlightSim.to world, and I may mention this before on one of our flights, but as we were flying along, looking at some of his add-ons, I think we were doing Hong Kong, which might be one of his biggest that he's done, I said, man, this stuff is good enough that you could definitely sell it. I mean, people are selling stuff worse than this for pretty good money. And he said something to me that I never forgot, and I've really taken it to heart. He said, nah, man, as soon as money starts getting involved, things aren't fun anymore. So even though YouTube has been paying me in my little old channel about, I get maybe 150 bucks every 3 months or so, certainly not a lot, I have given all of it away so far, and if I haven't given it away to you guys for flight plan competitions and things like that, I have donated to various aviation causes here around town and people that are involved in the aviation community, and I have been totally fine with that. I've loved it and just kept on trucking right along. But another huge part of my life is I've been very active in my church for, well, really since becoming a Christian again when I was in my early 20s. And I mean really active, like on boards, teaching classes, preaching weddings, baptisms, all that kind of stuff. And a couple years ago, I met up with a friend of mine. I didn't just meet up with him, but I was on the board for a Haitian orphanage, which I'm still on. But as many of you know, Haiti has gotten so bad that he couldn't live down there with his family anymore. So several years ago, he moved back to town and was working several different jobs, just trying to make ends meet because we had to cut his salary back and all that since he wasn't living down in Haiti anymore. And he was given, yes, given, an old dying church here in Jacksonville that used to be one of the bigger churches a long time ago, and I mean probably like early 80s. Building's still there, totally paid for, really rundown condition, and I always tell people when I'm telling them about what I'm doing at the church, it's really as if you have stepped through a time warp into 1983. I took my daughter to the one of the upstairs rooms today, and you felt like you just walked into like an abandoned old house where everybody just like was caught up in the rapture or something, to use a little Christian terminology. Like there were just glasses and pieces of paper and stuff that had probably been left there 20 years ago and never touched again. It was kind of creepy, actually. But anyway, it's a really old church. And when he preached his first sermon there, I showed up, and I'd been in a big, what you'd call, I guess, mega church for many, many years. Really, really involved with it, all the way from top to bottom. And I was just kind of disengaging from all that for the past few years. COVID hit, that was a big part of it. And that part of my life has always been a pretty big deal. If you hadn't picked up on it on the channel, I tried not to make a big deal about it because that's not what this channel's about, but it's an important part of my life. And my friend that is now the pastor of this church, he was literally given the keys to it, completely paid off building, but in rough shape. There were about 12 very elderly people that were still left at the church when I went there. And I said to him, I said, man, this is great. And he was like, man, you don't have to say that. I was like, no, really, I think like this is something I want to be a part of. And he was probably thinking, why? When you have this big, huge mega church with all the worship and lights and smoke and mirrors and all that stuff. And that's kind of what I was ready for. So 2 years ago, I started doing that. And I have been helping out with literally every aspect of that. I'm the sound guy. I'm the substitute preacher. The lawn repair guy. I do everything at that church. And we have been trying to build a worship team there with a band. And we have virtually no one on staff, so everybody there is volunteers, including myself. And I have recently gone from the sound guy to being their drummer. And I'm not sure if I mentioned that before, but I'm not a professional drummer, but I have played for money quite a bit here in Jacksonville. And they also need a bass player. I got myself a banjo not too long ago, which I cannot play very well at all, but I have been spending a lot of time trying to relearn the drums so I don't completely humiliate myself. And the whole worship team over there, which, if you're not involved with churches, is the team that gets up and does the songs and all that stuff, has really, really needed my help. And as much as I value all you guys and love all you guys, as someone very wise once said to me, all those people out there on social media are not going to be the ones that show up and visit you in the hospital when you're sick. And I took that to heart as well. And as much as I would love to spend time with all you guys, I've met only one of our channel members in person, just because he lives near me here in town. I would love to stay engaged with you guys, but I was starting to feel a sense of like guilt, absolutely unnecessarily, because again, I'm not doing it for the money, but when 3 or 4 days would go by and I didn't even have a flight in the hopper, I'd start to get a little anxious. And even though it didn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, because even if this channel was successful, even the most successful flight sim channels, nobody's getting rich off those, it was causing some anxiety for me. I would check the comments all the time, addictively be checking the performance numbers of the videos, and again, for really no reason, because it didn't really matter. I'm not trying to make a job out of it. But that's the thing about YouTube, guys. For those of you that haven't done it before, and I know I'm probably hitting close to the bone for some of you guys that might have a Flight Sim YouTube channel, because I know many of the big channels out there are also members of our channel. I know you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I just had to make a decision the other night where I could have come in here and worked on a flight, but something inside of me didn't really want to. My family was in there watching TV, and usually I would just check out and go do my thing, and that was it. But I was like, I can't keep prioritizing this. And I don't want to prioritize this over the stuff I'm doing with the church, so until I have some more bandwidth, I've got to slide this way down my ranking of priorities. And I don't know why I feel so incredibly guilty even saying that, but I kind of do. I feel like I owe something to everyone out there, and maybe I do. Maybe I do. I'm not deleting the channel. I'm not turning off my Discord page. I'll still respond to all the comments on that. I don't think I'll be able to break the habit of checking that every couple hours. I get so excited when people make a comment about the video that I put up. And there's some valuable stuff out there. I know a lot of you guys that have YouTube accounts have not failed to notice that 90% of what shows up on YouTube these days is tribalist garbage. And what I mean by that is people making shocking claims, people making verbal assaults on each other, other YouTubers. It's become kind of a cesspool. It really has. And I was kind of hoping that maybe something light like this that had nothing to do with politics, nothing to do with all the things that irritate people, would be a bit of a reprieve, and I hope for many of you it has been. This area looks really amazing, by the way. This looks super good. So when I get back around to it, maybe we'll take a flight air. Look at this. It looks great. Of course, we're in the UK, so all this stuff just looks wonderful. I'm guessing this is part of the UK. I think this might be like an independent island. They were saying that in the video. There's something that's kind of unique about the governance of this place. One of you that lives out here or in this area, let me know what's up with that. So that's the other part of this. YouTube, even over the past couple years since I've been doing this, has become kind of a gross thing. You can tell that the algorithm is manipulating you, making you feel uncomfortable when you're not doing what the algorithm wants you to do. And I feel like as massive as the sim community is, stuff like this, which I think a lot of people would probably like, gets shoved way down below all of the clickbait garbage that's out there. And that's a little bit frustrating, probably for everybody, not just me. So I got to take a break from YouTube for a while, and I got to spend more time with my family, and I want to spend more time with relearning how to play the drums. It's been 8 years since I've actually played regularly, and I'm absolutely loving it. There's a couple guys that need a little extra TLC on the team, which I'm more than happy to give at the church, so that's just been an awesome thing. So all this is to say that if all of a sudden I wake up one day or I'm sitting there at night and don't have anything to do, I'll be back. I'll be back. But it could be 3 more weeks, could be 3 more months, could be 3 more years, and won't it be a surprise if that's exactly what happens. But I'm still flying pretty much every night once the family goes to bed. It's just the amount of time it takes, as you can imagine, to put these videos together, all the research and all that, which I used to just love. But the past few months, it's felt more like a burden, and I don't want that to taint my love of simming. I just don't want it to get to that point. I'm hoping that maybe just taking a break will be just that. But in the meantime, any of you guys that are watching this that have channels, many of you have mentioned to me in the past you might want to do a little collaboration thing where we screen share and I fly along with you and I give a tour while you're flying on your channel or whatever. That would be really fun. There's a lot of developers and modders and hardware guys out there that have talked to me about doing stuff with them. I'll be glad to do that kind of stuff. I just can't put the time that I used to be able to put into it. So I've got to just chill back for a while. And the reason I'm making this is that I didn't just want to check out and make everyone think maybe I died or something. That was just vaporized and left everybody hanging. Not the case. Not the case. I'm just trying to keep my sanity, keep my love of the sim, stay enthusiastic about everything that I am doing in the sim, and just rolling with it. So that's the story, guys. Hope you'll keep visiting the channel, telling other people about the channel, and if and when I come back, it'll be like we never left. That'll give you something to look forward to as well. But thanks for everything, guys. It's been an awesome ride. 2.5 years. I was looking at my total number of flights I've uploaded. Again, a lot of the older ones have been deleted because they were so awful, but nearly 300 videos that we've uploaded, spanning from the tours, the reviews, just fun stuff with some fly-alongs with other people. It's just been great. And just so I don't have to end on a bad note, I'm going to cut out before I land. Because I want to make sure that you're just imagining in your mind the most buttery smooth landing I've ever made. Which of course it will be, but that'll just be my little secret. Love you all, appreciate you all, and hopefully I will talk to you again soon. Later. Okay, if you stuck around this long, you deserve to see the landing, so I'm going to do it anyway. Alright, we got no wind here. Let's see how we do with this little old thing. And I think we got 2 cross runways. Okay, the one on the left is obviously the runway. There must be a taxiway over there on the right. And while I'm thinking about it, I've actually gotten the bug lately to hop back in my liners. I have not flown any jetliners since I restarted this channel. And because of what I've been doing with all of the stuff with Pilot Edge, and probably going to start working on my instrument rating stuff, I want to be able to do all that so I can take a full-blown flight with live ATC. I think that'd be pretty cool, but that does not make for great videos because it's awfully boring to be up in the air for 3 hours in between using the ATC. I'll probably work on that in my spare time. Okay, here we go. We're a little bit high, so let's come on down. Boy, talk about low wind. That water looks like glass. I can see some little ripples on there. Go ahead and put some flaps in. We're going way too fast for that, so we'll just throw 1 notch out right now. And if you're wondering, no, I have not got the B-17 yet. It's in early release right now. I most certainly will be doing that as soon as it's available. Really looking forward to it. Aren't you glad you hung around? It's like our private little club here now, isn't it? Man, this thing is fast. Why is it not slowing down? Let's trim her up a little bit. Try to bleed off some of that speed. Am I going to have to slip her some? No, here come the pappies. Okay, now we can put 2 notch of flaps in. Keep that nose down. You know, one of the things I've really been worried about lately with my line of work, now that you know what it is the rise of AI and what that is going to do to service industries like mine. Maybe I should start trying to make money off YouTube, because I don't think financial advisors are going to have jobs anymore in 2 or 3 years. This is definitely a replaceable line of work, but it's been a good run. That's for sure. Full flaps. I should have popped them out a little bit sooner. Look at how slow this thing feels like it's coming in. And down we go. Oh, am I going to butter it anyway while you're watching? It could have been better. Not the best, but I think I kept the back wheels down. That's the most important part. Okay, guys, and that's it. How about a donut just to show off a little bit? Yeah, that's about the best we can do in this thing. Not made for donuts. I like the double ender. Alright, guys. That was a fun ride, and it's been a fun ride. Later.